I'm 72 years old, and I buried my son last spring, saying it still feels wrong, like my mouth refuses to accept the shape of it. I'm telling this because my house is quiet now, and when you get old enough, quiet becomes a mirror. And there's a chair at the table, his chair, from when he was a boy, that my eyes still look at first, like I'm checking if he came home. I used to think my job was simple. Keep a roof, pay the bills, put food on the table. I thought if I did that, the rest would just happen. That's how I was raised. My father didn't talk about love. He worked. My mother kept the house moving. Love looked like groceries and heat and school clothes that fit. Nobody sat you down and asked what you felt. So when I became a husband and then a father, I did what I knew. I worked. I stayed late. I came home with a paycheck and nothing left in me. I thought being tired was proof. My son was born when I was 26. I remember the hospital smell and my wife crying when they placed him in her arms. I stood there smiling like a stranger at my own life because I didn't know where to put my hands. I loved him, but I was scared of failing him, and that fear turned into a schedule. When he was little, he wanted me to look at everything: a toy car, a crooked drawing, a bug in a jar. "Dad, look," he'd say, holding it up like it mattered. I'd glance up and say, "That's good, buddy," while my mind stayed on tomorrow's shift, on money, on what could go wrong. I didn't think I was hurting him. I thought I was building something for him. When he was 6, there was a school play. My wife reminded me all week. Thursday, he has a line. I promised I'd be there. Thursday came, someone called in sick, and my boss asked if I could stay. I said yes, work first. That was my religion. I got home after the play. My son was in pajamas on the couch, quiet. "How was it?" I asked. "Fine," he said without looking at me. My wife didn't yell. She just said, "He looked for you." So I tried to fix it the way I always did. Saturday, I took him to the store, bought him a toy, got ice cream. I told myself that was what making it right looked like. But you don't buy back a kid watching the door and realizing you're not coming. You teach them what to expect, and once they learn it, they stop reaching. It happened slowly. A lot of maybe later, a lot of not now, a lot of me walking past him because I was tired, because I was busy, because I thought there would be time. By the time he was a teenager, he didn't ask me to look anymore. He got taller, voice deeper, door closed more often. I told myself it was normal. Boys pull away. But I helped him practice. One night I came home late and found him at the kitchen table with homework under the stove light. "What are you working on?" I asked. "English," he said. I could have sat down. I could have asked a real question. Instead I said, "Good," and walked to the living room and turned on the news. From the couch I could see the back of his head. He didn't turn around. Those are the moments that don't feel big when you're living them. They feel like nothing. But nothing adds up. When he started driving, I didn't ask me to teach him. My wife did it. When he got his first job, he told her first. I laughed it off like it didn't sting, like I wasn't watching my place shrink. At his high school graduation, I clapped hard, trying to catch his eye. He didn't look at me. We took pictures afterward, and I put my arm around him because someone told me to. He smiled, but his shoulders were stiff, like he was being polite. He stayed home for community college. We shared a roof, but not much else. Sometimes I heard him laughing in his room with friends, and I'd pause in the hallway like I didn't belong. In his early 20s, he tried again. I was in the garage messing with tools. He leaned against the bench and said, "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Yeah," I said. He hesitated. "Do you ever think about us?" He asked it carefully, like it could break. I didn't know how to stand in that kind of talk, so I made it light. "What, do you want me to get all emotional?" I laughed. He gave a small smile that wasn't real. "Never mind," he said, and he walked out. I watched him go. Then I went back to the tools, because the tools never asked anything from me. He moved out at 24. We saw him on holidays. We talked about safe things, work, weather, the price of groceries. My wife called him more. She remembered details. She did the quiet work of staying close. Then she got cancer. It started as fatigue and appointments, and then it had a name. I went into the same mode I always did, handle it. I learned the medications. I drove. I argued with insurance. People told me I was strong. I nodded. My son came around more for his mother. He sat with her, held her hand, talked to her softly. Sometimes, I walked in and felt grief rise in me, because they had something gentle between them and I didn't. One evening, my wife was asleep in her recliner. My son and I were in the kitchen with dishes in the sink, and that hospital smell on everything. He said, "Dad, I don't know how you did it all those years." I thought it was a compliment. "You do what you have to do," I said. He nodded, staring at the floor. "Yeah, you did what you had to do." It wasn't anger. It was flat, like he'd already decided who I was. My wife died 2 months later. After the funeral, my son stood in the doorway, like he wanted to say something. "I'm gonna go," he said. "Drive safe," I said, like that was enough. He looked at me. "You too," he said. Then he left. After that, without my wife as the bridge, there wasn't much between us. I called sometimes. "Everything okay? Yeah? You? Fine." I told myself we had time. We didn't. He died in an accident. Wet road. Someone ran a light. The officer said my son's name, and my brain tried to refuse it, like refusing would change it. I sat down on the kitchen floor because my legs quit. I remember thinking, this is the moment you can't undo. After that came papers and phone calls, and another funeral. His friends stood in my living room and told me stories about him, how he showed up for people, how he stayed late to help, how he remembered small things. I listened and realized I hadn't known him as a man. I hadn't earned that part. When everyone left, I searched for proof of him. There wasn't much. A few photos, a box of school papers my wife saved. In that box I found a folded essay from middle school, called My Hero. It was about my wife. He wrote about her making dinner, helping with homework, sitting with him when he was sick, always showing up. He didn't mention me once. It wasn't spite, it was just the truth. That's when it finally became clear. Providing isn't the same as being there. I'm not saying providing doesn't matter. Hunger and cold do damage. But I acted like money was the whole thing, like love was measured in hours worked. Because I believed that, I left the other parts undone. Now the things I provided feel small. Money can't fill a chair. You can't pay a bill and get a voice back. What I didn't give him, my attention, my listening, my presence, that's what's missing now. That's what I can't replace. Sometimes I hear a car door outside, and my heart still jumps, stupidly expecting him. Then the truth comes back in. There's no number to dial. You can't apologize to the ground in a way that lands. So I'm talking to you instead, not to preach. I just want to say what I wish I'd understood earlier. The small moments are the life. A kid holding up a drawing, a car ride where they start talking, a question asked carefully in a garage. Those are the places where love lives, if you stay. I spent years thinking I'd do better later, when things slowed down. But later isn't a place, it's a word. If you have someone you keep meaning to call, someone you assume will be there when you finally have time, I won't tell you what to do. I'll only tell you what it feels like when they're gone. It feels like a house that's too quiet. It feels like knowing you had chances and you spent them. If this meant something to you, you can leave a comment. Not for me, just so you're not carrying it alone. As for me, I wake up. I make coffee. I sit by the window when the light is good. I try to remember my son as a boy, when he still looked for me. Some nights I dream he's alive and I do it differently. I put down the tools. I turn off the news. I sit at the table. I ask him about his day and I stay long enough to hear the answer. Then I wake up, and I'm 72, and the chair is empty. And the knowledge that I thought providing was enough, and found out too late that it wasn't, is a weight I'll carry the rest of the way.